I'm Pam with PJ's Glass Creations. Want to make something really cute this summer? How about this watermelon bowl? Looks like a cut watermelon on the inside. The outside looks like a watermelon rind. It's actually really quick and easy. Takes 2 firings, 1 to put it together and 1 for slumping. So follow me in this tutorial and you can make one too. It's perfect for maybe serving up some fruit, using it on your counter just as a decoration. So anyway, let's get started. The first thing I'm doing is cutting a 10-inch circle. This is an olive green, bullseye olive green. You want kind of a medium dark green for this so that it looks like the watermelon. And first of all, you have to excuse the bandages. I had carpal tunnel surgery about a week ago, and that's what happens when you work too much with glass, but I'm fine to do things. It's just annoying. Anyway, 10-inch circle. I am using a circle cutter. I don't know how you say it. Cyberschnitz, something like that. Love this thing. I have it set for 10 inches, and I am just going to score all the way around. And you do have to make sure to have quite a bit of room to do this because you will get hung up on things that are around your workspace. And I am going to make some release points. So I am going to cut right up to this circle here, but be careful not to hit it. And that will give me a start with my circle. There might be better ways. In fact, I know there's better ways. I'm just not very good at cutting circles. So I'm gonna break this. And if I wasn't so close to this edge here, I would have made a release point. Like here, I'm really close to. But if you have more than that amount of space, you are going to have to make a release point. Otherwise, you will have problems cutting out your glass, with cutting out your circle. And I do have a little bit of cleanup, which I'll do on the grinder. And I'm going to do the same thing with a red piece of glass. I'm not going to show cutting that one too because you just saw me cut a circle. That one will be an 8-inch circle. I'll be right back with that. I took all of the little nubbies off of the edge of my watermelon rind, and what I'm going to do next is add some little stripes to the back side of this. This is a spring green Opal Frit from Bullseye, and I am going to just put some stripes, and you do have to put them fairly thick right across this. And I am using a sifter to do this. And I'm going to go back and forth several times because this tends to lighten up quite a bit when you're in the kiln. All right, that looks about right. And then I'm going to mist it with some pump hairspray. I just have this cheapy Suave hairspray. And the secret to doing this is start out really high. You can see already that it is making kind of some water spots, which is okay. They'll go away. But you don't want to wash away all of your frits. So start out really high and then you can work in closer. And I'm spraying quite a bit of this. And the reason I'm doing that is that I'm going to have to let this dry very thoroughly. And then I'm going to turn it upside down to do the other side. I'm not going to fuse it first. So we really need this stuck on here well. So I'm going to let that dry for a little while until it is totally dry to the touch, and then we'll come back and do the next part. The hairspray is dry on the back side of my watermelon, so I'm going to turn this over. And the next thing I need to do You can see that my red of my watermelon, which by the way, this is a red that's kind of a striker. It says red opal on it, but it's kind of a weird shade. But anyway, actually, I think I might even use this side. What I want to do is sprinkle some white powder around right here where this circle, the rind would meet the meat of the watermelon. So I'm going to do kind of the same thing that I just did. Actually, what I want to do first, I think. This will burn off in the kiln. I'm going to just put some little marks so I kind of know where this is going to be. And it'll burn off in the kiln. This is just a black Sharpie. And I'm going to use some white Frit. And just go along the edge. I don't want it all the way to the edge. And most of this will disappear, but you'll just get that hint of white. You know how the right on the edge of the meaty part of the watermelon, there's a little white. That's what this is for. And actually, I'm thinking about it. I know this is not going to show in the middle. I'm going to put just a little bit in the middle as well, so I'm not trapping any air. I'll hopefully get a smoother finish. And what I need to do is put this right in the middle. And I'm going to put this in the kiln at a full fuse. Then we'll come back and add the details and slump. My watermelon is out of the kiln, and you can see here are the stripes that we put into it. Looks pretty much like a watermelon rind. And we have the meat of our watermelon with that little bit of white. Remember I said a lot of it would go away, so there's that white. The only thing we have left to do is to add some seeds. So I am just using a black enamel. The enamel I'm using is a AAE Easy Fire enamel. And I'm going to put just a bunch of dots that are actually pretty heavy. And if you get it where you don't want it, don't worry about it because you can clean it up after it's dry. And I don't want them exactly like in some kind of random or some kind of pattern. I want them kind of random because that's the way a watermelon would be. And while I'm thinking of this, I am using this just as a decorative bowl. If you were using this as a bowl to actually put food in and eat out of, you would want to do some kind of clear powder or put clear glass over the red, because the red, at least the Bullseye red, I don't know about other brands of glass, is not food safe. We'll see how that looks. And then I am going to use a toothpick and just elongate these. You could use your brush too, I guess. And also make sure all of your seeds are not facing the same way, like they're not all pointing the same way, like I've just done. And then if you have some that are maybe not as filled in as you want, you can go back and fill them in. I'm seeing this big, huge gap right here, so I'm gonna maybe put one right there. I also ended up with two that might be a little bit big. If I decide later they're too big, I can clean them up. I also have this whole area here with nothing. I think one more there too. Or maybe one here too. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to put this in the oven at about 200 degrees for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, maybe longer because some of these are pretty thick with enamel. Just until all of this is dry. And then I'm going to slump it. The enamel that I am using at the slump temperature that I use will cure. You need to set, or you need to check your own particular enamel and make sure that the slumping temperature is enough to set your enamel. So into the oven it goes. Then I'll show you the mold that I'm going to put it in. My watermelon is out of the oven. All of the seeds are dry, so they're not going to smear now. I see I do have a few fingerprints, so I might take a dry cloth and kind of polish those up. I'm pretty happy with the way the seeds came out. I don't think I'm going to change any. They're slightly different sizes, but I think that's pretty normal in a real watermelon. And also, make sure to check your back. I'm noticing that I have a little bit of black enamel that somehow got on the back. It was probably on my fingers or something. So just double check that. Clean that up if you need to, just because otherwise it'll be permanent on there after you slump. And then I'm going to slump into this mold. It is from Slumpies. I don't know if you can see that, but it is SM9037. And I think it's about 10 inches across. So I'm gonna put this in and slump it, and then we'll be done. Pretty easy, quick project. I'll show you the finished project when it comes out tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure that your bowl turned out awesome as well. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And look for my other tutorials. I have a lot of them on my YouTube site, PJ's Glass Creations. Thanks for joining me. Bye.